Okay, Stacey, what are we looking at?
Awesome. Okay, so last time, those of you that were here, we did a query scenario, and I'm going to do a different scenario for you today. So if you're interested in that, Rob put the link in the chat, so go check that one out. But just wanted to give a quick overview of the query screen and show you how to merge a query today. So my scenario is I have a gift officer who is making a trip to Nebraska to see a donor and wants to know what other donors are in Nebraska so she can visit some more people while she's there. Lucky duck getting to go to Nebraska. So here's how you get to query now. It's down here in analysis. You can also pop this little guy out if you like words. I like having more of the rest of my screen, but we're going to go to analysis and query. Keep in mind, this took me an embarrassingly long time to figure out. So now that we're in WebView, you can't just like open up 6 constituents and put them all over your screen and compare them. The way to do that now in WebView is you right click on things and open a new tab, and then you have it jump up here in a tab and you can pull them down and resize them and look at things, etc. So keep that in mind, right click, open a new tab. So here's the query screen. One thing that I love and hate about this query screen is all these filters up at the top that help you find your queries. So twice in the past week, I have like sent a desperate message to the team, like my queries are missing. And somebody said, Stacey, did you check your categories? No, I had not checked my categories. So if you're in alumni segments and you're searching for a query about something, you know, like that has Nebraska in it, it's going to tell you there are none. And then when you remember that you're not in the right category, there it is, right? So if you come to query and you're having a hard time finding your queries, check if any of these boxes are checked, check if your categories are selected. You can look at all formats, et cetera, which might be why I couldn't find that query I was looking for yesterday, because I was not on all formats. All right, or all types. Let's see this, you guys.
I love live webinars.
Learning in real time.
This is legit, guys.
I guarantee this is the most useful webinar that anyone on here has seen. They're like, I feel seen right now that Stacey is doing this.
Figure stuff out in real time. Sorry, everyone. So my query scenario, let's create a new query. So we're going to do a dynamic constituent query, and we're going to start with, this scenario would not require merging, right? There's going to be people that say, Stacey, I don't like merging queries. It's dumb. I try to get all my criteria into the same query. I like merging queries for real complicated scenarios where you have a group of people with 89 criteria that you want to include, and then you have a group of people with 96 criteria that you need to exclude. Love making 2 queries for that and subtracting one from the other. This is just how to merge queries for fun for those of you that like to do it. And if you've never tried merging queries, I think it's super useful. So that's what we're going to do, even though I understand this particular scenario does not require merging, just for kicks. Okay, so I want to find first all my donors since, let's say 2020. So we're going to do gift date greater than or equal to January 1st, 2020. And that's all I'm going to put in this one. I'm just going to call this, I'm going to save it and call it recent donors webinar, and I'll put it in my important queries and we'll save it. Okay, so now I'm going to make my other query, which is going to be another dynamic constituent query for donors that with an address in Nebraska. A quick note on criteria, things that are in weird places, remember to check that cheat sheet for stuff that has had names changed. So custom fields, our attributes are now called custom fields. Things like fundraisers are called fundraisers now instead of solicitors and such. So if you ever can't find a field, it's probably in there with a new name.
See, why did Blackbaud decide to rename everything?
Great question. Anybody? Just to make us all nervous and think that we're going crazy.
Just to make us all, really study up as we look at another view.
All right, so we're going to go to preferred state equals Nebraska, where all the cool kids live. And we are going to save this also. Oh, this is not donors, this is just constituents. Try to be precise in our naming here. And I want this in my important queries also, and I'll save it. Okay, so here's how you merge. They're right up here. So we'll say new merge query. And we're going to select our queries, and we can either type in things, recent donors webinar, or we can click show all and do a search in there. And we'll do this one, constituents in Nebraska webinar, and select it. Now, merge operators. I don't know about any of y'all, but every time I do a merge query, I click on this little guy to see the little pictures. Now it does take 2 clicks now. It used to be easier to get to in database view. So sorry about that. There's a description with a bunch of text here that I find not helpful. And if you click on this link right here, it takes you to this page that has the pictures, right? So what I want for this one is an AND query. I want to know everyone that is in both queries. So everybody in this little guy, little segment right here, but or here, XOR and sub is my most used kind. Okay, so we're going to do an and we'll say okay. And then this you will all recognize as the merged query screen, right? So you'll notice we have no criteria in this query. We can only do our output and sort options and then see the results. So let's go ahead and output some stuff. Always when we are outputting data in query, what do we start with? Class?
Cons ID.
Constituent ID or some other identifying item that is unique to that person. Let's put the name to 2 points, gold star for Andy, by the way. I'm going to put the city and state since this is a trip question. So let's go to address. We have this city.
While Stacey's doing that, I'm going to remind folks, lots of questions in the chat. I promise you we're going to lose them if they're in there. Make sure you, even if you put them both, that's fine, but put them in the Q&A and that way we can kind of sort through them as we go because people are getting really excited by what you're doing here, Stacey.
This, we're going to put the assigned fundraiser name in here so we can keep track of who they're trying to steal, whose donors they're trying to steal on this trip. And then let's do a summary field because I like them. So we're also going to do total amount of gifts so we can see who is our top donors. And we're going to filter these on gift type. So we're going to do gift type one of, we're going to click the show all. And the way I like to do this is select everything. And then I'm going to remove payments. So I'm going to search for pay and then I can now click clear all and it's going to uncheck all the payment types. And when I uncheck that little guy, it's going to have all my pledges and cash and other things still included. So we'll go with that as a gift type filter for fun. And now we'll have in our query the list of everybody that's coming out. So one thing that's cool in here is when you are on the output screen, you can click this and change the column headings, which I love. So if you're outputting something with a super long name, you can change it, or you can say lifetime pledges cash or something, right? So that you can make those descriptions make a little more sense. We're going to sort this list by city and state for kicks, and then let's click on our results. Now, as you know, when you're doing a static query, it tells you you have to save it before you can run it. So we're going to say merged sent donors from Nebraska. And I want this in my important queries, and we'll click save. Now, important note about static queries and merged queries. You need to watch for this message when you are doing this. Until you see this message and click OK, the query has not been created and the keys, the like little sticky notes that it goes out and puts on all the records have not been created. So you've got to keep that in mind. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So now I'm running my query and Razor's Edge is going out and putting sticky notes on all of these records to say, this is a recent donor from Nebraska for Stacey's query. Now, this can take some time and it also is a little wonky. So I have had this happen a number of times when I'm creating a merged query that I basically nothing happens here and I kind of do anything here, right? But I have saved this. If we save it and close it, let's see if we can find it. And there it is. It says I have 97 records. So it did actually run the query, just didn't show anything, right? So let's go here and we'll try it again. And then I think they will pop up now. There they are. So that's how that works. If you don't get results when you're doing a static query, you have a couple of options to get your results to show up. You can go back to your output or your sort and change something. Like, for example, thank you, Carlene, for this tip that I had never heard of before yesterday, but she just goes back to Carlene Johnson on the call, everyone. She goes back to her sort and she changes it to descending and then ascending and then go back and then it will rerun the query, right? See, it's re-adding my sticky notes, and then it will actually show me the output. So weird kind of workaround, but you can do it. In my scenario, we got 97 results, and my gift officer said to me, that's too many people to visit. Let's do just people that gave in the past 2 years or 3 years or something. Right? So let's go ahead and save and close this, and we're going to do this again. Actually, I don't need to save and close it because I saved it 1 second ago. Let's save it. Okay, so how we're going to change that is I'm going to go back to my recent donors webinar query, and I'm going to change the date range here. So let's change this to 22, and we'll get more recent donors. So I'm going to save and close this. I don't even have to do anything, just save and close it. And then we're going to go back to my merged query and open this up, and we'll go to the results and let's see what we get. So this is going to be a kind of weird little quirk that I want to make sure you guys are all aware of. But the way static queries work is they are not refreshed until you save them. So I open this up and it's still showing me the results from last time, because I said the last time I ran this and saved it, it was using the old criteria. So it's still showing me the results from the old criteria, right? Everybody with me? And that's what we want it to do, because I haven't resaved this. I haven't told this static query, please go run again and get me whatever qualifies now, right? So that's what we want it to do. So do not panic if you see this. Now, one thing we've learned in the last little while is that the refresh button doesn't appear to really do anything for static queries. So just ignore this in static queries. In dynamic queries, it works great and it's cool, but I don't know that it does anything here. If anybody has more information on that, please let me know. So the way to actually get this to my new criteria, right, removing the people who gave kind of, is we're going to do the Carlene magic trick of we're going to change the sort to descending and ascending, and then we're going to click on results, and I'm going to get this pop-up that says after the query's been saved, etc. So I could either cancel and not save, or I could click OK, and it's going to rerun and should hopefully give me a smaller number of results. So let's see if it does. Ta-da!
Look at that.
So that is how you do this. So now this query has 6 records in it that it owns, right? And these are the people now that my gift officer will probably want to call. Another quick note, these never go away. These little pop-ups over here that says, we ran your query for you. There were 97 records. So you have to click on this to close them. They're super annoying. Pro tip, click on the bottom one first, and then it just keeps moving them down and you can kill all of them. Okay. So another quick note before we move on to questions and whatever else we're talking about today, but static queries that you create just as a standalone static query work a little bit differently than this. So remember how the results showed the old results until I saved, and then it showed the new results here. Static queries, regular static queries do not operate that way. They will show you on the results page everybody that qualifies for this query now, even if you have not saved. So general rule of thumb with static queries is don't necessarily trust what you see on the results page, because if you're using that query somewhere else in Razor's Edge for an export or something, you may get different records from what it's showing you on the results in the query to what the query actually believes is part of the query, what records have the sticky notes. So please keep that in mind as you're using static and merged queries, that this page is meant to be helpful to you, but it might not be 100% accurate picture of what's actually in that query. All right, I think that's it for the super speed demo portion of today.
And folks, we did a super speed demo here. If you liked what you just saw, make sure you watch part 1. We spend more time going through, so this one kind of built on that, but we didn't want to just recap all of it again to get to questions. So Stacey did a speed run for us. I think, Stacey, there's probably about 15 people who are updating their resume to look for other jobs now. And then there's at least 450 people that are nodding vigorously and like saying, I finally feel seen. Like, these are my people. This is my tribe. Like, where have you guys been my whole life? Okay, so let's do this. Let me reshare. I want to walk through some bugs. Like, you covered some, but I'm going to walk through some bugs, talk through, Austin, what's not moving over to WebView, right? And then we can get to Q&A. And then I also promised that we would talk about donor cover. That's a big hot topic, the big changes to what Blackbaud's charging for donor cover. All right.
It's a big topic inside the company too. We're having some heated discussions about this in our Blackbaud Ninja meetings.
Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Is that showing okay or coming up? So, all right. Existing bugs. Let's do a lightning round through this, Austin. Let's not spend too much time on it so we can get to questions. I guess Austin or Stacey. I'll put them all up on the screen.
A comment on that first one. They do appear where they're supposed to. That's another example of Stacey not finding her queries because there's so many filters and I missed one. So I'm sorry, the slide is a lie.
Delete this. They are, Stacey, this is so great because everybody on here is in the exact same boat. It's hard because they're just building like what is a bug and what is like just they move something and what is like the new functionality. I love it. They fixed some stuff that we had up there last time, like not selecting a category with a new query. Still have a couple on there about can't select inactive stuff. I saw even in the chat people bringing things up. We're going to talk about where you can go to lodge your complaints or suggestions. What's not moving to WebView? This is where it gets a little bit beyond my abilities here. So Stacey or Austin, interpret this slide for me.
Mostly it's just sort of like the extra stuff that Blackbaud has, when they look at what they want to move, they're looking at usage. So the things that are not being used frequently or being used by a small number of people may not be moved over. And these are some of those things.
We're going to have a net community funeral later this year, I think. There are some
Yeah.
BBNC users out there that are
That's
getting on their black attire and their veils and everything else right now. Yeah.
If these things are wildly important to your processes, go to the RE NXT Idea Bank and vote for the existing ideas there. That's where Blackbaud developers go to be informed about the things they need to add in. Carly, Maya, they can add, all those ideas into the chat if they're able to do so. Another thing I wanted to mention is there's a page in the help doc that is transparent about what's not being moved beyond query. So for gift management, tributes, and event management, and I'm going to put that in the chat. Please go read that so that you're aware of the pieces they're not planning to bring over.
the spot where you go to find out, wait a minute, this affects me. Like I need to go make some noise on the community forum or upvote or idea bank. Okay. So we'll share that in the chat. Things to look forward to. Ladies, sorry, I'm trying to go too fast. Ladies, talk me through this.
This is just where queries might be, plugged in WebView in the future, but the product update briefing in May will have more information on this. Timing is sort of unknown as of right now.
Love it. The moment that some of you have been waiting for, the PSG cheat sheet. Stacey, while you were talking, there were 17 people that are like, where is the cheat sheet? I need the cheat sheet. Here it is, and this is updated from part 1, and we'll even give you a little QR code. So we kept it last time just private to, like, if you attended live, we'll share it. We got so many emails and people saying, hey, I need this thing. So here it is now, and keep in mind, if you didn't sign up for the newsletter, you should, because every time that's where we announce our webinars. Every time we do a webinar, if there's something relevant to this, we'll update and have a new version. So this is version 2.0. We probably should have color coded them or something. That would have been fun, but we would have run out of colors. So that is a cheat sheet. We'll also send this to you in the email with recording and the slides and everything else. But that is where you can go, print it out, tape it into your office or cubicle. Last thing before we talk about all the Q&A, and we've got 30 plus questions are waiting for you, Stacey and Austin. Donor cover. All right, so WebView has some new things like these optimized forms, which look a little bit less clunky, which are good, right? If you have something that the giving day and conversion is important and you just want something streamlined, that's good. They're catching up with where others are on the online giving. Let's talk about these 3 things. Smart donor cover, complete cover, donor cover. It's confusing as heck, especially if you're new. Who wants to field this?
I can take this. Smart Things donor cover can be used with Online Express to give donors the ability to give a little bit extra to cover fees, right?
So if you're using Online Express, this is your guy right here, right?
Yeah. It's a third-party add-in from SmartThing, but it's free. And it's very easy to set up and get it up and running in an afternoon kind of thing. Complete cover and donor cover, the 2 boxes at the bottom, are for NXT donation forms. So they live in WebView, right? Very simply, donor cover is like what you would expect traditionally, right? Someone is giving a small extra donation to cover fees. This is based off of your Amex fee structure, so it's a little bit higher than what someone will be paying, say, through Visa or MasterCard. The pro is it's what you would expect from this, right? It is opted in automatically, so if a donor doesn't want to do this, they have to choose to opt out, right? Complete cover is a little bit more complicated in that Blackbaud will cover your transaction fees for any donation up to $3,000, but your donors will be presented with a percentage structure to give an additional amount directly to Blackbaud. So the additional amount is not tax deductible. We've seen some confusion with our clients and their donors around this option. So it really depends on what your organization wants to do and what works best for you. But I would challenge you to consider both of these from a donor's perspective, right? And then make the call on what will work best for your org.
What lit the world on fire like 2 weeks ago? What did they change to donor cover?
They announced that starting April 1st, so just about a week ago, they will be keeping the difference between what a donor covered and what the intended donation amount was. So that sort of broke the internet. So in the instances of Visa, MasterCard, right, they give, I don't know, $1.50 to cover fees, but the actual amount charged is $1.35. And so Blackbaud will just keep the extra 15 cents.
And that was the announcement. I think I'm laughing. Susan in the chat, I think, hit it correctly. Like the way that it was rolled out, if we can be very candid, it was an email that said, hey, good news, we're making life easier for you. We know you've had trouble reconciling when we send you back the money that you're owed, so now we're just going to keep it, like in kind of like a patting on the head, like, hey, we're doing you a favor type thing. And I think that's probably attributable to a fair amount of the frustration is like, your email may tell you make my life easier, and the result is you're just taking more money that we used to get, right? Andy, let's not spend too much on now because everybody wants to talk about query stuff, but what's the 30-second version of why do people not like this is a healthy debate with all of our clients. Like, why would you not want complete cover?
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue with complete cover is Blackbaud's not going to tell you how much the donor is giving to them. And so when you're sending out a gift acknowledgement saying, thank you for your gift of $100, and the donor is like, well, wait, I actually gave you $120. That's where we get a riff. And then to be able to explain to the donor that we didn't actually get that $20, that went to our credit card processor, and then they like lose their mind and they want their gift back and the $20 back.
And the donor maybe knows a thing or two and says, you idiots are paying $20 to process a gift. Like, what are you doing? This is crazy.
And so then they're kind of questioning your credibility and business sense. There are just a lot of challenges with that, right? And in some situations, a person's giving you $1,000 gift and then is potentially being asked to give an additional $100 or $150 on top of that for a credit card processing fee. That's a big ask for people. Those are some of the challenges.
And you have to weigh that against, I understand the ease of like, you never have to worry about it again. Like you set up that complete cover and like, you don't have to worry about transaction fees. That's certainly a benefit to your staff, but from a donor perspective, oh boy, you better like think that through.
Yep.